From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the Business, Equity, and Opportunities Podcast with Scott Sander.
Welcome to the Business, Equity, and Opportunities Podcast. I'm Scott Sander. On this episode,
if you're looking for life in technology, the road can start as an apprentice. A new Nature Conservancy report on clean energy. And a local company shows off its ground game.
Every business is unique and has a target audience. If you own or manage a business, Circulus Digital Media can help you connect and grow your customer base with turnkey digital solutions that are nimble, offering best-in-class results, service, and support to reach a bigger customer base, allowing you to pinpoint a specific audience down to the smallest details. Get outside the city, the state, span the globe. Put Circulus Digital Media to work for you. Get started now at circulusdigital.com. That's circulusdigital.com.
The holidays are all about sharing with family. Meals, couches, stories, Grandma's secret pecan pie recipe. And now you can also share a cart with Instacart Family Carts. Everyone can add what they want to one group cart from wherever they are. So you don't have to go from room to room to find out who wants cranberry sauce, or whether you should get mini marshmallows for the yams, or collecting votes for sugar cookies versus shortbread. Just share a cart, and then share the meals and the moments. Download the Instacart app and get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes. Plus, enjoy free delivery on your first 3 orders. Service fees and terms apply.
Time for This Week in Business. National Apprenticeship Week officially begins tomorrow. Malik Laffoon coordinates Tech Point's apprenticeship program, shares a few success stories, and explains why companies of all sizes may do well to follow the lead of companies like Allegiant and Lilly in growing their own talent.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. This Week in Business.
Apprenticeship, how we define it, is a 1-year exploration. And so they'll start for a 1-year apprenticeship and they will work at one of our companies, but they'll also get learning and training on the side, about 5 to 8 hours a week. The difference between internships and apprenticeships are for students who are looking to find out what they want to do and try to test the waters and see if this is actually a viable experience for them. Apprenticeships are for people who know what they want to do, but they need that first initial opportunity. A lot of our apprentices have gained numerous amounts of confidence throughout the program from either their teams or their supervisors, and it's just that they're proving to themselves that they can do it. They're really taking a bet on themselves, and it's really important for them to get that confidence so they can carry that to their company and maybe even their next positions as well. If you're a company looking to diversify your talent pipeline, apprenticeship is a great way to do that. 80% of our apprentices come from underrepresented backgrounds, and we're talking about women, people of color, and so if you're a company looking to diversify your talent pipeline, it's a really, really good opportunity to do that. Retention is huge, and in order to grow the technical ecosystem like we want to in Indiana, we have to buy into our own kind of grassroots efforts here in Indianapolis first, and so we have a lot of people from underrepresented areas that are looking for that first big shot, like I mentioned earlier, and so when you give that apprentice that confidence in themselves, they're more likely to stay. Apprentices are also more likely. Studies show that apprentices are more likely to stay up to 7 years as opposed to people that come from more traditional routes that stay probably closer to 2. Apprenticeship Week is really, really important. It's a chance to highlight what we're doing in Indiana and Indianapolis for our community. Apprenticeship is a really good way to give opportunities to those underserved populations that have historically been underrepresented in the tech space, that opportunity to thrive and to be appreciated for their efforts. So first of all, who to contact? You can contact myself. You can reach me at malik@techpoint.org. But in terms of readying your company for this process, you have to have a team in mind. You have to have a team set to be able to take on this apprentice. This apprentice is not going to be the most super polished professional, technical professional that you're going to get, but they're going to come in there with grit and hard work. And that's what we're really expecting out of our apprentices. They're going to have some technical competencies that you're looking for, but that they're going to need those wraparounds from your team and from your managers and from your supervisors to kind of bring them along and make them the best fit for your company. They should be expected to work hard. They need to come come in every day, willing to learn. There are going to be some bumps along the way, but that's why TechPoint's here. That's why your employer's here, to give you those wraparound services, to broaden your network through events and different aspects like that, to engulf you really into the tech ecosystem in Indianapolis as well as Indiana. I'm not actually an apprentice, but when I started at TechPoint, it was very evident that they liked how passionate I was about getting people jobs, and going into these communities and identifying those people who have those skills that are struggling to find those positions, because there's just so much information out there. When I was graduating college, I didn't necessarily know what I wanted to do. Thankfully, I graduated at the height of COVID, so I went and got my 1-year accelerated MBA, and that kind of was my apprenticeship kind of introduction, because that 1 year really gave me a lot more focus than I had prior. It really gave me a sense of what I wanted to do when I got out. And so if I can give, if TechPoint and we can give apprentices an opportunity to take that 1 year and figure out if this is the right fit for you based on your skills and your skill set, it can really set them on the right path. One of my favorite apprentices is Jeffrey Polanco. He's at Allegiant right now, and he's doing really, really great things. He came and he did a 15-minute interview with me that I do when I vet all of our apprentices that come through the program. He was very, very shy, very timid. He didn't necessarily believe in his abilities. But I met him a couple months later after he started the Allegiant Apprentice, and he was raving. He was, smiled, beaming, and he could tell his confidence had been raised. And that was because Allegiant does a really, really great job of giving their apprentices that confidence and putting them on projects to challenge them, and really wrapping their arms around them and making sure that they can be the best professionals they can be.
But it got me the opportunity that I didn't know existed, and I've always prayed for. So it's one of those things that if you don't just take that leap of faith, you'll never know what's going to happen. So I think just going in and applying yourself would be the best advice.
You've heard about TechPoint's 41K mission, and so in order to do that, we have to have buy-in from the community. We have to have people believing that we can bring 41,000 Hoosiers into the tech workforce by 2030. And apprenticeship is a big part of that, and bringing in our underrepresented population like women and minorities is really, really important to us. If people buy into this apprenticeship, it's really going to give other people more confidence to step forward. We have a lot of training partners in the city of Indianapolis and in Indiana, and those people coming out of those training programs need that confidence. And when you see someone that looks like you in these particular positions that have been doing apprenticeship for a year, been being paid a salary, and are staying at their companies or moving on to different companies and doing the same type of position, that gives them more of a confidence to move forward with their kind of experience and kind of believe in themselves in that way. So anybody that comes through the apprenticeship program through TechPoint has a 15-minute meeting with myself, and that meeting is to really give them an idea of what to expect from the program. We're really big on transparency and making sure they understand what this opportunity really means. It's not a walk in the park, but it's a really serious opportunity. If they're willing to take that and take it by the horns, it's going to be really, really great for them. And so that 15-minute conversation is then followed by them filling out a profile. That profile gives us an idea of kind of what their technical competencies are. And so when we do receive employer interest, it's not necessarily a back and forth via email. We have all of their information right there. So what they then get is an idea of what the company is potentially offering, and so they can make an informed decision on whether they want to continue with that opportunity. So I usually work with the employers that already have apprentices at them, but we have a person at our company, Rosalind, that kind of makes sure that relationship goes well with the new employers. They get, free training. We give them free training workshops that they can do while they wait on employer interest. And so it's a really cool opportunity for them to continue to skill up while they're in a waiting kind of period. And I always tell them to use this as a resource. Don't let this be the end-all, be-all of your, technical professional search. Take interviews, continue to skill up through the different training programs that we recommend. But make sure you use this as a resource.
Running your business day to day. Sean Mobley is a Senior Policy Associate for Climate and Clean Energy with the Nature Conservancy. The organization has released a new report on clean energy.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Running your business day to day.
My name is Sean Mobley. I'm the Senior Policy Associate for Climate and Clean Energy. So what that means is I spent a lot of my time on our government relations team engaging on climate and energy policy, but I also lead our climate strategy for the state and working with companies and local units of government on clean energy and climate issues. So the real goal of the report was to determine what the renewable energy demand coming from the business sector is in the Midwest as a whole, but also in Indiana. And I think the findings are kind of shocking. Over 50% of our largest companies in the region have either aggressive emissions reduction goals or renewable energy goals. And so what that means is that we need to think about, as a region, as a state, how to site and procure renewable energy in a way that considers not only the climate and carbon impacts, but also our communities as well as conservation outcomes as well. The Paris Accord, a lot of companies kind of coalesced around that, setting emissions goals to keep temperatures from rising from 1.5 degrees Celsius from 2005 levels. So I think that is kind of the ultimate goal, is to create a more sustainable future. But I think in Indiana, the main outcome comes down to economics. It makes the most economic sense to transition to more sustainable sources of energy for their business models. So a lot of companies have net zero goals by 2050 or 100% renewables by 2025. It really varies, but I think that is company to company. But really what this report shows is that there is demand coming from over 50% of Indiana companies, as well as all 5 of our investor-owned utilities transitioning to clean energy, and we need to think about how to site that clean energy. With the business community, it comes down to the siting of these projects. For our larger emitters, they have a larger draw on the electricity system to conduct their business. When they have the desire or the goal for renewable energy generation, where that is sited has hundreds of factors coming into that. So the biggest misconception, I think, is that renewable energy and community involvement and conservation efforts and agriculture conflict. The Nature Conservancy has developed tools and science-based instruments to help these companies, both clean energy buyers as well as the clean energy developers, find areas around the state and in the region to find these areas where there's this low conflict but high opportunity for renewable energy development. So I think that's the biggest misconception, is that if you have a commercial scale solar installation, that you're detracting from our agricultural sector. And we don't think that's the case. There are areas in the state where we can incentivize or prioritize co-location, so you have wind and solar on the same acreage of land, maximizing the amount that is still in the agricultural sector. There is agrivoltaics, where you install the project where you can still conduct farming. Purdue University is doing a lot of research on agrivoltaics. So there are a number of different things that lawmakers, decision makers, and local units of government can consider when thinking about this, so that there isn't that constant not in my backyard NIMBYism happening when it comes to renewable energy. We've made some great progress. From 2021 to 2023, there was a 15% reduction in our coal consumption for electricity generation, and that's impactful. But we need to be doing more. I think that the business demand is showing that we need to do more. But we need to do it in a holistic, smart, science-based way. Again, that consider those 3 C's. We have a tool called Site Renewables Right that takes into account our most critical habitat and wildlife areas, so that clean energy buyers and developers can avoid those areas. My hope for the future is that we can help our business community reach these renewable energy goals while protecting one of our most important economic sectors like agriculture, and while protecting habitat and wildlife and our people and communities from the negative impacts of climate change.
Time on business equity and opportunities to focus on an industry. We recently sat down with Shannon Taylor, CEO of Class Act Transportation, about turning an opportunity into a mission to provide transportation needs to the sports and entertainment industry.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Industry Focus.
My name is Shannon Taylor. I'm a Chief Executive Officer of Class Act Transportation, which now we're expanded operations to Class Act Transportation Indiana. And so we have a complete ground transportation company, and we recently partnered with Wish TV is to do the transportation for talent as needed throughout the city and state. I sold actually cars in 2013, and I walked in and they said, sell me this pen. And I sold the pen in I got the job instantly. And I sold cars for like about a year. And I just said, you know what? It's not for me. It's about owning my own business because I want to take care of the customer. And I saw, and at that time, that particular business and being a car salesman, it's customer service related. And so I knew right then that I want to help the customer and help people. I incorporated Class Act Transportation 2014. I started one car, one client. As you know, it's word of mouth with anything. And I never forget 2014, obviously, still a green pea, a little slow. And then I got a call from someone and they said, Eddie Levert of the OJs is coming in town for a concert. Would you be able to pick him up? Sure, not a problem. Took care of that. I still hold this picture to this day of Eddie Levert. And very inspirational. Anybody knows the group OJ's been around for a very long time. And then 2 weeks later, got another call about another celebrity. And it just kind of built on from there in 2014. And, nearly 10 years later, we're still doing it. What surprised me most about the journey was not giving up. Not giving up. Always being kind of like my slogan, always around ahead, always on time, always giving to the communities, giving follow-ups, things like that. And so, and I think a lot from my mom. And one of my mom said, be disciplined. And so, obviously, a few years back, COVID came and a lot of companies went out of business, wasn't sustainable. And I just kept the faith, and I just called on individuals that I had served over the years and gave service to, and just, how you doing? It's not about the job right now. How are you doing, checking on you? And I just feel like, checking up on people, fostering the relationships. Because when there's no relationships, there's no business. If there's business, that's because you have relationships. So I hang my hat on that, just continue to foster relationships. I see growth here in the state of Indiana. I see growth with Hoosiers, not only just the city of Indianapolis, but throughout the state of Indiana and throughout the country. As many know, Indianapolis is a sports town. You have Purdue, you have IU, you have Butler, you have Valpo, IUPUI, and obviously we have the greatest race spectacle on earth here, the Indianapolis 500. And I just see opportunity, and it has been given through, obviously Grace for Mercy and showing being appreciative of that. But the door is wide open, and it's nice to partner with business that want to help you. And that's what kind of made me expand over to Indianapolis, because I see that from a gubernatorial standpoint to business, whether it's small, medium, large, with diversity, inclusion, business equity, small business, and I want to be a part of that. And I think this is a good place to settle here. I'm keeping it positive, and I want to continue to give back. Because at the end of the day, what you want your legacy to be. Because you can't just keep all information and hold on to all information. It's good to share. And I'm about being that, sharing, building, but also listening. Because if you can listen, you can learn. And be open to advice. Be open to advice. No one knows it all. No one gives it all, but I think partnerships are very important, inclusive. As a small business, I'm looking to grow, but most important of growth, being able to help people, community serve. That's important to me. Helping communities, helping other businesses. If I know something, I know someone, whether it's a person that has a florist, a person that does fencing, a person that does a window cleaning. Share that information. That's what I would want my legacy to be, that Shannon Taylor of Classic Transportation, he was always sharing and giving information, helping one another, helping people. And I think that's just so important.
Our thanks again to all the contributors who joined us for this episode of the Business Equity and Opportunities podcast. We hope you found it enlightening, useful, and inspiring. You'll find more information about the show on our website, BEOshow.com. You can watch Business Equity and Opportunities Sunday mornings at 10 on Wish TV or live stream it through wishtv.com. Each week we provide 7 full segments with topics ranging from how to get started and how to access capital to the day-to-day running of your business and questions about accounting and bookkeeping. We feature business news and trends and always share a success story from one of our contributors. Join us next time for more insights into the world of small business. Be sure to sign up for our Business Equity and Opportunities newsletter to get even more valuable, up-to-date information. And if you have any questions or you'd like to be part of our show, please email us. The address is beo@wishtv.com. We'd love to hear from you. I'm Scott Sander. Thanks for listening.
Watch the Business Equity and Opportunities show on Wish TV and access all of our content and share it on demand anytime at BEOshow.com. You can find more podcasts from Wish TV on the All Indiana Podcast Network at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.